and this would lead to a huge breakout above all-time high, and it would ultimately lead to a big breakout above 100K, I think, potentially before the end of the year, if we can see this happen. But if the daily continues to get smashed down by resistance, then we have a potential bear market on our hands.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest crypto community in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in crypto. If you like money in crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you subscribe, you got a chance to win 5 Ethereum. Details on our contest down below in the description. Today, I brought on Carl from the moon, and we are going to be discussing Bitcoin's big breakout. It's coming one way or the other. Are we going to see Bitcoin go to 100K by the end of this year? Are we going to see a lot more pain and Bitcoin go all the way down to $13,000 or lower? Both of these numbers are certainly in play right now, so we're going to get Carl's analysis on which way he thinks is more likely. And also, guys, if you do want to trade based on any of the information we discussed today, make sure to head on over to bitboycrypto.com/deals and go down to the ByBit section. We've actually got a huge Ethereum trading competition on ByBit coming in about a month. You can sign up in 2 weeks. Definitely want to go ahead and get an account for that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the interview. Hey, guys, I'm joined today with Carl from the moon. You guys make sure, by the way, go down in the video description. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. Carl, I got to know one question from you, one answer. Where is Bitcoin going?
Yeah, actually, I think that there are a few very clear things in the chart that can tell us the direction. And well, you know what? Let's not waste any time. Let's just go straight into the charts.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So this is the weekly time frame for the Bitcoin price. And first of all, I want to cover the topic of, was this the top or not? And I believe that this was not the end of this bull cycle. I think that we're still in the bull cycle. Generally, when you look at Bitcoin, whenever we top out, you can see that we top out with a big blow off top. It's always a huge blow off top, which is very sharp. And then we see a big correction like this, right? And a bear market. But what we saw now is very, very different. I mean, even this top over here was also a very sharp blow off top, and then we saw a big correction. What we're seeing now, in my opinion, does not resemble that at all. So the answer to, are we still in the bull cycle, the big 4-year cycle? Yes, that's what I believe. I definitely believe so. Now, could we go lower before we go higher? I think yes, definitely that's very possible. It's even like Bitcoin is the best form of money in the world. It is going to go to millions of dollars per Bitcoin. We know that. You know that.
Yeah.
I know that. So for us, it can be hard sometimes to be completely neutral and objective while looking at the price, because we always think it's going to go up,
Right.
because ultimately it will. But in the short term, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. And if I saw the chart like this without knowing it's Bitcoin, then I would say this. First of all, we're bullish on the weekly because we're above the weekly EMA ribbon. But look at this. If we go into the daily here, then we can see that not only is Bitcoin below the daily ribbon, but we are in a very clear downtrend. This is a bearish trend. And you can see that we're seeing something that could resemble like a bear flag or so.
Yeah.
Some people think that bear flags have to be tilted up, but bear flags can actually be tilted to the downside. So if you were to objectively look at this, then it looks like Bitcoin is in a bear trend, consolidating, waiting for a continuation move to the downside. If you want to be completely objective. And there is one very, very super important level for Bitcoin. That is this level. The previous support back there. We had a wick there, 2 weeks there. 30K. 30K is not only a huge psychological level, but it's a massive key like level for the structure of Bitcoin here. And if you go to the weekly again, what is very interesting is that we're also seeing that the weekly EMA ribbon is lining up here So let's make a zone out of this. If you make a zone from the 30K up to the bottom of the ribbon, then we're getting a zone between 32 down to 30K approximately. This is an extremely important support box to hold above for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And speaking of support and resistance, let's also take a look at the resistance, because of course, if we hold here, I mean, it is big support, so we could definitely hold and maybe get a reversal. So the question is, where is the daily resistance? And I would point towards this point right here. Huge, huge.
Yeah.
You probably talked about this also in your videos, because this is a very obvious level, right? We have
41 to 42 is the number
yeah,
we've looked at. Yeah.
it's very, very important. You can see that so easily here, 41K, and yeah, we can make a small little box there as well. So essentially, when you look at it like this, you can see that we have daily resistance, daily support. Right now we're consolidating. Technically, it should be likelier that we continue the trend, which is to the downside. But what I'm hoping is that the weekly time frame, which is still looking very bullish, is going to hold and keep Bitcoin in a bull trend on the weekly time frame. That would be fantastic, and this would lead to a huge breakout above all-time high, and it would ultimately lead to a big breakout above 100K, I think, potentially before the end of the year, if we can see this happen within the next let's say 30 days or so. Because on the other hand, on the bearish note, if we were to break through 30K to the downside and break the EMA ribbon, then let's just travel back to 2017. Look at this. We had a big blow up top. We fell down.
Yeah.
And then we saw the weekly ribbon hold twice here, but eventually we broke it right there. You see that?
Yeah.
And well, we don't have to be genius to understand that that would be something bearish, right? Last time that happened, Bitcoin actually fell 57% approximately. So without saying that this is going to happen, let me just play with the numbers here. Let's just pretend that this is what could be expected if we break 30K, and if we break the ribbon, basically 57% could take us down to something like $14,000.
And that's about as low as I could ever see it going again at this point. I believe. I mean, people are throwing out $9,000. Like, if you look consistently at what we've seen throughout bear markets with Bitcoin, you know, the $11,000 to $13,000 range will put it kind of in that 80 to 85% range total from the top. So, you know, I think that's a pretty consistent number of what I've seen. I don't think we're dropping down there anytime soon, but we could go up and then drop back down.
We should also keep in mind, first of all, I want to be very clear. I don't think that 14,000 is likely. I think it's very unlikely. I would give it maybe like a, I don't know, 3-4% chance or something. But with that, because I think that we're still in a bull market, as soon as we actually break 30K, obviously I would have to maybe say it's now a 10% chance, maybe, or I don't know, something like this. But right now we're still above here. Something we have to know is that every single time we broke above the previous all-time high, we never came back below it again. Look at this. For example, when we broke 1100 here, we never ever came even close to it again. Look at this. It's a big gap there. So ever since we broke
you can
above
really
20K,
you can actually look over there at 13,000, or I mean not 13,000, 2013 in the beginning, and you can see the first part of that run, it was the same thing. I mean, if you look at where it topped out there around 200 and $50 somewhere around there, you know, I mean, it did drop once it broke it. It did drop slightly below it, but that was basically just a wick and pop right back up as well.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So, I mean, you could potentially make the case that we're in this double bubble kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that this, of course, this would be the next bubble that would come down below 64K in that case, right?
Yeah.
Because this bubble never came back below, let's say, if this was the previous.
Correct.
So what I'm saying, I think, still is valid, that considering that we broke above the previous cycle top, we are now extremely unlikely to go below 20K again, according to previous history. Um, Obviously, previous history doesn't necessarily guarantee future results, so it's not a guarantee, but it's just it's just me taking a look at what's happened before and what we could expect in the future. And the structure of Bitcoin tells us that 20K should be a very, very big support that should not be broken. So in my opinion, looking at the weekly, I mean, we are looking very, very bullish on the weekly. Obviously, we're getting a correction right now. The daily is very bearish. The daily is looking actually really bad because we're in a very like sharp downtrend. So the weekly and the daily are right now competing against each other. Who's going to win? I mean, the weekly is always, of course, stronger because it's a bigger time frame. But if the daily continues to get smashed down by resistance, then we have a potential bear market on our hands. But I'm going to say that I still think that the bulls are going to be strong because we still have all the fundamentals of Bitcoin are still there. We have, I mean, I'm not selling my Bitcoin.
Right.
I think that, I mean, I make some trades, of course, on ByBit and stuff over on my channel. That's what I'm doing. I can short Bitcoin, long Bitcoin based on the short-term volatility, and that's what I'm doing. But my long-term holdings, I'm not selling, even if we're in a downtrend like this. I'm not selling any Bitcoin until we break 100K because that's what I've been saying, and that's what I keep holding strong to. And even then, I'm not going to sell a lot, maybe 5%, 10% maximum to take some profits, invest in stuff like real estate and companies maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in it for the long term, just like you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, there's a reason why most of us who have been through this market multiple times feel like it's coming back. I think a big problem that YouTubers made in 2018 was they just continued to be bullish way past the cycle, like when the cycle was totally done. And we know that. And we're aware that in that time, people stayed bullish for too long and a lot of people got hurt. And we're still willing to say, we do not believe that this market is over yet. There will come a time when we do go into a full bear market. And I think what Carl's really saying here is when you look at that green zone on the chart and you look at that number, you know, between $30,000 and $33,000, as long as we're staying above that and as long as we're bouncing up into the EMA ribbon and not going below it, then there's no reason for us at this point to think that we're going into a deep bear market and we're going down to $14,000 or anything like that. However, if we do see that drop below, then we do have to start putting that into our minds. But right now, there's no reason for us to think that as long as the weekly stays, you know, above that. So, Carl, anything else you want to add here at the end of this video?
Yeah, I think that everyone who wonders about altcoins, I think you have to first predict Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks down like this, then I think that altcoins are going to continue to suffer. If Bitcoin breaks up like this, then I'm not necessarily going to be ultra bullish on altcoins, but I think that many of them are going to start recovering again. I think that altcoins have already been extremely hyped. They've already had a lot of X's have been made, like 100X, 200X, 300X.
Yeah.
I think that altcoins are a bit saturated, but if Bitcoin breaks up, I do believe that altcoins are going to start recovering a bit. But I think the altcoin cycle is kind of over. I think we have to let Bitcoin, in this case, just go up. And then whenever Bitcoin starts to top out again, that's potentially when altcoins are going to start popping. We're going to see a big altcoin season again. But people waiting for an altcoin season, I would say you have to wait maybe at least another 6 months or so. That's what I believe. I would love to have an altcoin season because I invested in a bunch of altcoins. I took some profits, of course, but let's just say I have exposure to altcoins and I would love to have an altcoin season. It's just that I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah. I think we have two different kind of time frames, but I say similar thing. I actually think we're going to see all that occur within about a 3-month time frame. You think about a 6-month time frame. But you know, I agree with you 100%. I do think we have to see Bitcoin dominance and the price of Bitcoin recover. Altcoin season 1 is over. There's another parabolic altcoin season coming. It will be more explosive than the first one, but that's going to come at the end of this Bitcoin cycle, which I believe still beginning of October, end of September. but we'll just have to see. It's got to bounce back pretty quick in July to stay on that time frame. Well, Carl, thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's been a couple weeks since you've been on the channel. Glad to have you on. You guys make sure to go down below in the description and subscribe to Carl's channel. Make sure also to smash the like button on this video, and we're going to try to get Carl in on our live streams in the future and maybe around the blockchain as well. So you guys comment down below, let us know where you think Bitcoin is heading to. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.